Hey, back, just chilling, really good, chill vibes happening right now, and really quick, uh, we're gonna do a presentation on crystal energy healing because it's something that I mentioned earlier, and it doesn't matter the size of the crystal that you have. There is like a healing energy meditation that you can do to activate your own body's natural healing energy currents, which is huge. It's a huge passion and a line of study and work, and there are so many amazing healers and testimonies and examples of miracle healings taking place, and the techniques that they use, the state that they get themselves into to literally manifest miracles in their own physiology or through the power of prayer and meditation, the physiology on a real physical level of their friends, family, and loved ones. And that's incredible, you know? When you see that, like someone that beats a terminal disease, instant spontaneous remission of a terminal disease like cancer or a brain tumor, dissolving through the power of thought and prayer, where medical science comes in and says that like you need to get this removed, or there is a 0% chance of survival in this case. And someone comes in and they're like, they don't give up. They release and let go into that. They invite a higher power into their life and their space, and they engage that focus, or different strokes for different folks, but in the other side they come out beating a 100% terminal diagnosis with a complete recovery. And medical sciences, well, I guess it's just like an anomaly, but an incredibly specific and intentional anomaly, like it doesn't happen for everyone, but it does happen with enough frequency where it's like, uh if you're there in the energy current and it's meant for you, there's like a hand that you can reach up and grab. There's a current of energy that flows through all of us, and you can tap into it, my friends. You can tap into it right here, right now. It's something that's always beaming out to you, and that's something that as a fan of stories and magic and sci-fi, it's like uh and wanting to believe in that, like, wouldn't the world be so cool with magic? Helps me find and tap into really magical parts of our world, as all stories are based and have a basis in human understanding, even if it's tapping into the human imagination and the way that humans play with the mystery and these ideas that are so much larger than ourselves. They do always speak with language that resonates with people, language that speaks to people, something that they can understand, even on an imaginary level. There is some elements of truth, that's why we resonate to stories, why we're drawn to them, why they speak to us, why they move us. If it touches your heart, then it does so in a real and meaningful way. It touches something that is innately you, and that even in itself is magic. uh, so if you're doing let me see, I've some amethyst crystal here, and you're sitting here holding this crystal, and you imagine the space and the energy of your body, right? So you close your eyes and you imagine the three-dimensional space of your body with your consciousness in your head, not up at your eyes where you might like put your consciousness, because that's what you're seeing. So we identify being up here. You pull your point of consciousness back to the center of your head, right? This is something you do in many different trains and schools of thought, in all kinds of different energetics and meditation. You pull your thought back to the center of your head, And then you like imagine energy moving from that point through your body. Keep good posture. You can imagine the column of energy through the spine and going out to your arms and your legs and your extremities, right? So you imagine this current of energy in your body, and you try and extend that energy into this crystal. So you're extending the light energy beyond your body into the space of this crystal. And you imagine the infinite beauty and perfection of this crystal as something perfect and timeless, this timeless, perfect energy that crosses and reaches out and touches all of time and space, right? Through quantum physics, right? It's connected to everything, this crystal, and it's centered here. So you imagine that beautiful, perfect energy, right? A crystallized piece of elemental God force, source energy, and you imagine the same energy inside of yourself. Like if someone's like, now imagine yourself as an infinitely beautiful and perfect thing, and you're thinking of yourself as like an incredibly flawed like person, that might not always measure up, that's always trying to do a bit better, that can't help but make any number of mistakes, right? If you've hurt the people that you loved, you can't do the things that you want to do and know that you need to do. You feel like you're not reaching your highest potential, right? Sometimes you might even like think of giving up on yourself. So when someone says, imagine a perfect and beautiful and perfectly beautiful source of energy inside of yourself, you might be like, damn, man, that's a tall order, right? It's hard. But if you have a crystal here, right, and you're imagining that crystal and you're in your meditation, like I said, and you reach into it again, and the energies of the body and the energies of the crystal, and imagine it as like an expansive space where if you were like really tiny or something, imagine it as this great and giant field of energy, and you're touching it. You can draw from it, right? Think Final Fantasy VIII. Like you're touching and drawing the energy from that source, but the same energy also exists in you. And when you imagine it there, then you can imagine like if there's a soul, or not soul, like life force. There's a current of life energy that flows through you and is touching this, and you move that, you imagine that same infinite beauty and perfection is you, and it's not something that you can ever break, and you tap into that, then you've already like you've aligned yourself to a healing energy current, and it's something that you can send to yourself, that you can course through yourself. It's something that you can send to someone else through your intention, your loved ones, and you imagine that current of energy in you as well as them, in that shared space and the space between you. You hold that intention, you do some breathing there, good posture, breathing. You can relax into it. You don't have to keep like crazy posture. Some healers will use like hand movements for just like getting the rhythm and momentum of a flowing energy state. And almost instantly, you can see like a small amount of increase in the body's natural autoimmune system. Like it perks up. Energy levels start to rise, or relaxation levels start to deepen. You can help to give someone a state of peace and joy just by holding that energy of peace and joy. And if you get into that beautiful life energy, and you're in peace and joy, but then you're channeling and moving this life energy, you imagine that, and you work at it, you meditate in it, and the point in the head, and then three-dimensional space of the body, and imagine the movement of energy is like, at the highest levels of energy healing, guys that are being paid like $200 an hour to come in and do this stuff. This is like the same general techniques and principles and philosophies. And these people, you're like, $200 an hour to sit there and move energy with your mind. But the testimonies speak for themselves. When you have people with like very difficult illnesses, and when it comes to starting a positive momentum in that time that they can carry with them into their own natural healing response, you know, and you start to think of yourself as a priceless and indispensable thing, which everyone should do more of, you know. I dream of a world where everyone sees their worth and also the worth in others. Um, and you know, some people, if they're acting real skeevy or villainous or something, it's like, I don't see the worth in them. But if you do see the worth and the beauty in all of life, and someone is standing against that or working against that in some way, I think it instills a healthy sense of rebellion against that. Like fighting corruption and injustice becomes a natural response if you have reverence for life, right? And beauty. Um, then you don't even have to try to fight real hard for things that matter, right? But to be able to also set that fight down um, when you are in a space of healing and a space of joy and a space of peace, and to be able to give that to the people around you, yo, for sure. This is just like because you know, we're all crystal warriors here. This is my primer into metaphysics and like healing energy work and just like positive psychology, I suppose. Kind of like self-help philosophy. Just dealing with like wanting to be my best self, wanting to be the most energetic, motivated, best version of myself I can bring to the day every day to start like taking the steps to actualize my dreams. I've ingested a lot of this material, also fighting depression, fighting anxiety, um, you know, and those being very real and at times huge challenges that I've faced where I've been on rock bottom before, you know, and then I've been like below that before. Uh, but I've gotten myself back up from there. So to anyone who's going through that, you know, in their own life, in their own ways, like never give up. You know, there's tools, there's techniques, and you don't have to make any journey all at once, you know, even if you'd like to, just to like take the next step. And if you're in a bad place, sometimes you just gotta wait it out. Sometimes you just gotta know that the weather will change, the sun will come out again, you know. Uh, our world and our season, it comes in cycles, and so do the natural energy rhythms of the body. And to just remember that sometimes really helps. You know, where your sun will rise once again, uh, even if it takes a while. So never give up on yourself either, ever, ever. Yeah, no, that's good. I've got a whole thing. I'll go into it at some point, just because like I don't want to ever see anyone die, man. If their life could have been saved, you know? And I want to see everyone, you know, live their best life, reach their highest good. I know it's hard sometimes. Uh, so keep on keeping on. Find something to get excited about. Thank God we've got video games. Like, honestly, throughout my whole life, that's been something that I could just consistently come back to. Where I'm like, you know, if you're feeling cynical ever, just to be like, the world has Final Fantasy and Zelda and, you know, The Lord of the Rings, Kingdom Hearts, Pokemon, Mario. Like, there's so much to be grateful for. Uh, and to have that space, to have that haven to regain your energy, to like find a space to exist in for a time, uh, can be a huge tool. You know, like when I'm going through hard times, to be able to like stop, play my favorite video games for a time, and come out of that in a better state, right? where it's like, I'm not so sad anymore. I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling more proactive, always feeling less helpless. Because it's like, go take on some quests and start interacting with things. You know, there's things that you can do. You can take action. The power is in your hands. And that's something that stays with me always, that I'll never forget. That, you know, everyone knows and everyone learns, and everyone could know more through video games. No, yeah, that's something to just spend time in a thoughtless space of energy healing while you're playing video games is pretty good too. You can use that video game as your energy crystal, where you're playing like Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth, right? And you stop and you like reach into the infinite beauty and perfection of the game and send that energy out to everyone playing the game and everyone who's touched it. You know, you can send gratitude to the creators of the game and the fans of the original game whose dreams became the fuel and the lifeblood of Rebirth and Remake. It really does. It feels like a grand collaboration with everyone who ever loved Final Fantasy VII, which is so vast and great, you know? Thank you, Square Enix. Thank you so much. You're priceless. You're indispensable. Yeah, cool. All right. I'm too choked up. I can't post. Okay. And again, like I'll make a finished video presentation with like really good filming. I'll write a script and get like a mic and something and try and make like small videos that present things in addition to just like long form videos where we talk about whatever. And that idea of building that platform of the things that I'm working on and making, things that I love, things that I'm learning, things that I have learned, and to make a platform for sharing those things, in addition to stuff like an interview show or a podcast where you interview cool people and just keep good vibes up, which is something that means a lot to me, you know? I'm the kind of guy where it's like, if any of my friends are having a hard day, I would try to cheer them up, you know? I'd invest myself in that. So it's a natural response to try and create a positive space. So that's something that I'm always working on. Yeah, no. The self-help side of things are cool as well. But I'm like, skill building and personal optimization are real big for me. Like video games and storytelling, and like analyzing video games and storytelling and looking at everything that goes into there and researching the behind the scenes in these things and like learning what's going on there, what goes into it, where all this talent comes from, how that talent is managed, how the project is imagined, and where the collaboration happens, like taking something that was once an idea and it grows and evolves in this creative process, you know, and you watch it come to life until it becomes this, you know, priceless, unique, you know, timeless thing like Final Fantasy or Zelda or something, where it changes the worlds forever, and all of a sudden you can't imagine the world without this thing being a part of it. And you're like, that was magic. How? And there's so much that goes into it. Sometime I'm gonna get like some of the, you know, we will get some of the best like lore people on Final Fantasy, some of the best like fan people on Final Fantasy VII, and do like a comprehensive behind the scenes, like how did Final Fantasy VII happen? How did it come from an idea and become this huge radical step forwards for the series and for video games as a whole? No, I know a whole bunch of Final Fantasy VII behind the scenes facts, but even still, it is a fraction of what the entirety of the project was and what it became, and then the legacy and the follow up, and oh, you know, all that Final Fantasy VII stuff be cool. But I'm definitely gonna have to play through Rebirth first. This is all. I'm doing like fundraising stuff. I don't have a PS5. I never got to get one. And I'm working on a lot of things. I'm working on a lot of things that I know could be very valuable. And I'm just trying to like get it together and put my focus in the right place and get the presentation out to the right people and maybe open up some lines of collaboration. Uh, and looking at people that have like larger spheres of influence than I do. My stuff is almost entirely local. It is entirely local, where it's just like key friends and individuals. I'm trying to get that out to a larger fan base. Blah blah blah. Oh man, I'm gonna have to like cut this. This is gonna do like a 5 minute on how you can stop with any kind of crystal or stone even, and find that space of infinite beauty and perfection, to bring that into your heart, to think that that's in you, that is you, to identify with that, and to cast a voice of confidence for yourself, like there's like 40 trillion cells, all of them voting for you. And like you want to vote for you too. You want to cast a vote of gratitude and confidence in every living cell of your being, and to see the infinite beauty and perfection that is you, to take a minute to bask in the magnificence that is Frankie Lolia, maybe not in the way that you see it, but in the way that other people see it, to see yourself as an example and an icon and a hero in the way that you can be, and to just like take a minute for self-love. So goddamn helpful, so goddamn important to spend that time looking in the mirror or just meditating quietly, and of loving yourself with gratitude for where you're at. And to hold on to that, then shit won't get you down so much. If something happens or someone says something to you, like you'll find yourself quickly in a place where it's very, very difficult for you to be insulted, because you have like a confidence and an assuredness and a sense of self-worth, that becomes like anyone could say anything and it doesn't matter to you at all, because you're saying something to yourself that is so strong that it could never be overpowered like that. Especially not by like, venomous slander, someone spitting like poison at you for no reason, and that it's just them projecting where they're at, but it's easy to attach to that. If they're like, they said that to me, like, how am I supposed to take that? It's like, you don't have to take that any kind of way at all. You choose how you feel about yourself. And, like, choose the best kind of way to feel about yourself possible. Because all of our, all of our molecules and atoms were forged in the depths of an exploding star. There's a lot of goddamn pitch perfect physics that went into the equation way before we were. That was our legacy. It's like, oh, stop! You're making me feel self-conscious. I've got to go out and do like a bit. I've got to do a bit to these people and try and create a space that's full of like levity and like silliness and goofiness. But I feel like having a space of the awareness of how beautiful and perfect is the universe adds itself to levity. Like from there, you can go to making silly jokes and like, you know, just getting into the fun of the present moment and wherever your point of focus takes you. Um, but not to get lost. Not to get lost along the way, you know? Like there's a North Star there. And to try and find that and to hold that. You know, oh man. I hope always you can hold this. This is my energy healing meditation presentation. Specifically for crystal energies with just like a little behind the scenes. And then rambling from like 15 minutes on for the last 10 minutes. Yeah, just rambling. And that's like for everyone. You know, if I was to give Frankie a specific energy healing presentation, it might be a little bit different. No, it's not different. It's the same. I mean, it's the same, man. That was just a little bit more of a general presentation. A little bit more of a general presentation for Frankie Lilia and the Flower Garden. Yeah. Super good. Super good. Yeah, always keep your energy healing crystals on hand. Keep your raw materia, you know? And the live stream will course through you as well. Yeah. Sending you nearly infinite amounts of love and light. Shit, this song. Oh, damn, man. Final Fantasy X gets me too. Yeah, the way it taps into spirituality. It's so grand, you know, the way it plays with the mystery and like taps into like Buddhist and Hindu spirituality, but it's like a neo spiritual game. It's super fun, and it's just like this character based story of this guy who comes from this techno world and he's thrust into this world of spirituality. So like the modern world and its sense of playfulness, you know, and the solemn world and the dance between the two. And the characterization of Titus and Yuta, it's too good. It's too goddamn good. They were guided, yo. Yeah, that's a place. I'm so happy Final Fantasy exists and Final Fantasy X. Like so many kids growing up with that game and like the moments of beauty. Yeah, damn. That shit's untouchable. Oh, Frankie Lilia's 10 VODs are too good. They're too fucking good. They're so good. Oh man, University Frankie. Oh, killing it. You see these moves? You're fucked. Yeah. Super good. You've leveled up. You've leveled up so much since then. You've still got that fiery spirit. And I know, like, being in university and being out there. Was it you were right back from university or there still? I'm not 100 on where that was. But there's a youthful energy of, like, adventure out there. And you've, like, grounded that into, like, going back to your roots and, like, that. You know, when you're young and you're, like, out there and then getting, like, grounded and rooted. And eventually you'll be a perfect fusion of the energy of, like, being out there in the world and that confidence, and also rooted in who you are and what makes you you and special, and it'll be the perfect level 99 version of yourself, and you can just take on the world, and the world will be better for it every day and in every way, everywhere you go. Would it always be so?